You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Pace Radio Show. We're live and coming to you from paceradio.net and 420pace.ca. Good evening, Tamara. How you doing? And Happy New Year. And Happy New Year to everybody's watching.
Yeah, Happy New Year. This is our first show back of 2026. Yeah. So Happy New Year to everybody. I hope everybody had a good holiday and, you know, everybody got rested up and took some time with their families. And yeah.
Never even... Other than programming the Christmas broadcast where we had 2 Christmas shows, their music shows that went out that day, I didn't turn my computer on.
It's nice to unplug for a while.
Yeah. You know, normally it's on every day, just, you know, podcasting every day. And, you know, I'd shut it down for the Christmas holidays and just like that's what our plan was, so that's what I did.
Right? Yeah, and I did my first show back on Monday after I'd taken a bit of a hiatus before Christmas, and I came back for my first show 2026 on Monday with Cannabis and Coffee with Marijuana. So that, and again, like, you know, people came. I had more viewers, I think, this show than I've had for a while. But again, I think, you know, people are looking for something other than what's going on around them. So if we can kind of take your mind off what's going on in the other part of the, you know, other whatever, just to kind of, you know, common relaxation, I think is the best way of, you know.
You know, as the name of the show says, you know, people advocating cannabis education. Tonight I've got studies. There's all kinds of studies as we just learned. There's like 53,000 studies in the U.S. library on cannabis research. So, and most of those have been over the last 10 years. So tonight, so tonight we're going to be talking.
And they did change the scheduling in the U.S. on cannabis over the holiday. The orange potato did do that, and they descheduled it to.
What he has done is he's activated the process that had stalled. Cannabis has not been rescheduled yet. It's still scheduled 1. It has to go through the process, just like it was doing what it was doing with Biden. It has to finish that process. And who knows? Maybe his DOJ will decide to restart the process, which sets it back even more. So it's not. Yeah, it's not. I
just can't even. I just would probably should change the subject because I can't.
No, it's all right. We should talk about it because there are good things about it. Okay, and I don't want to try to get. We try to stay away from politics and bashing each other and stuff like that when we do these shows. But it is a milestone where he's got that process restarted again, but will it restart? And will the DOJ restart it at the beginning? Then what is a Schedule 3 drug in the schedule? From the research,
they've changed the scheduling on Tylenol. So what are they going to schedule?
Well, yeah, it's a schedule. Tylenol codeine is a Schedule 3. No.
Like I said, there's just so much uncertainty with anything that he says. But again, thankfully, we don't have to worry about that because we do have legislation.
And I'm trying not to.
So we can.
This is what
Canada decides to pick up more studies of our own.
Right now, this is what I have seen online. Okay, about the Schedule 3. Got a few things here. This is as per a lawyer. That's what the post said. It's per this lawyer, and I looked it up. This lawyer's name, and he is a cannabis lawyer. Whether he quoted this or not, I don't know. But this guy is a cannabis lawyer. Schedule 3 drugs. The only companies that can legally produce a Schedule 3 drug are pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah.
The only companies that can legally sell a Schedule 3 drug are pharmacies. The only people that can legally distribute a Schedule 3 drug are pharmacists. Prescriptions for Schedule 3 drugs have to be renewed every 6 months through a traditional pharmaceutical model. See your doctor, get your doctor to fill out a prescription. You go to the pharmacy. So, that doesn't sound like you're going to get, will the pharmaceutical version
that's no step closer to a medical program.
The pharmaceutical version be herb, or will it be,
well, again, that's no steps closer to a medical blanketed program for patients. It's no step closer to.
There's none of that. There's none of that. Now, okay, this was somebody else's take on it. They say that because it's no longer Schedule 1, or no longer would be Schedule 1, this person says that state cannabis programs now face major risks, legal challenges, and structural overhauls, because that shield of being in Schedule 1 through the Cole memo or Walnut line, there's also something to do with what Congress has done about things along there that sort of shields people when they're in Schedule 1. Now they say the second thing is that Big Pharma is officially moving in. You heard me talk about that just a second ago.
Yeah, we talked about that on the last show about how there's that new. We talked about that on the last show.
Patents and intellectual property battles are coming because strains, extraction processes, genetic lines, and formulations will get locked up by corporations.
So basically handing it off to the billionaires.
Yeah, because Schedule 1 blocked those patents from enforcement. Now Schedule 3 allows that to go wide open. Now federally, because this is all federally, home grows could become criminal without Schedule 1, because you can't legally manufacture a Schedule 3 controlled substance at home. Growing your own could now mean serious federal charges.
So this is worse.
Yeah. Dispensaries could disappear.
Why am I not shocked?
Or change completely. Schedule 3 distribution requires pharmacies and pharmacists.
This has got Stephen Miller's fucking hands all over it.
They say that this means that many dispensaries could be forced to shut down or reclassify as the pharmacies.
And then you have to have pharmacists that have to be employed to do it, which means licensing and fucking blah, blah, blah. This sounds like a fucking nightmare.
Major pharmaceutical companies have quietly invested billions in production facilities, anticipating this move, and they're not entering the game. They're preparing to take it over. They say that smokable products are next on the chopping block. Expect a wave of campaigns claiming smoking is toxic. They'll label it as a health hazard, even for cannabis, to push everybody to manufactured medical alternative. Prescription cannabis is coming. Expect strict qualifying conditions and mandatory prescription requirements.
I think I like our program a lot better.
Okay. Number 10, the DEA and FDA control begins. Licensing, manufacturing, and distribution will favor the biggest, richest, and most connected players. And I don't know if you heard about scromiting. You know, scromiting is the latest thing that's come out. And scromiting is a new word for, you've heard of CHS.
Yeah.
Cannabis hyperemesis, whatever syndrome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, now it's called scromiting. That's the new name for it, scromiting. Yeah. We had Cindy and I talked about it on Monday on the news. There was an article out about it, and scromiting on CHS basically is what it is. They talked about the cause of it, and it was talking about neem oil, because the effects of neem oil, smoked neem oil, is similar to the side effects that people are getting with CHS.
So people are using neem for pesticide, and it's being sucked into the cannabis, and then you're smoking that. So it's the pesticide that's doing it, and actually not the cannabis.
And especially in the U.S., like I know here in Canada, they got like 100 and some odd approved pesticides. But down in the U.S., they've sounds like a lot of their products, like half of their products are being tested, with several of them passing, or not passing, but failing pesticide test. So maybe you gotta grow. That's why you gotta grow your own clean cannabis and don't spray any pesticides on it, right?
I've never sprayed my plants with anything.
I spray mine when they're clones. I spray them with water. That's it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, I've never had a problem where I've had to use a pesticide. Like, like, there's other ways of even getting rid of a pest. Like, you don't have to use a pesticide, especially in a small grow. I don't know. People are dumb. I'm just coming to people
before we get into some of these studies and things that we're going to talk about tonight, I did want to discuss the Schedule 3, because there are some pros. I went through a bunch of cons there as far as the pharmacy end of things, but there are some pros, and that's the fact that they do recognize it as a medical use, for medical use, right? We don't even got that from Health Canada, right? So this would recognize it if it goes to Schedule 3. It would recognize as medical use, and there would be some studies done. Some medical, studies would be done, and maybe, I don't know, maybe there might be some funding there, but overall, as I said to a couple of friends of mine,
I just don't have much faith or much more funding coming from their federal government when they're cutting so many funds for everything else too, right? Like, I don't know. I'd have but anyways, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for the love there, Limestone City Hydroponics. Thank you for tuning in. It's it was something I thought that we should discuss.
No, it's definitely, because I mean, everything that they do affects us in one way or another, right? And again, if they start changing a bunch of regulations on their scheduling, then Health Canada gets whiff of them doing that down there. Will that affect our regulations too, right?
Yeah, will Health Canada all of a sudden decide to recognize cannabis as a medical use?
Right. And then would that be benefit? Well, it would be beneficial for us because we've been saying it. But again, look at the negatives towards it too with news. So I'm just.
Well, that's the thing too. Now, this isn't anything that I've seen anywhere, but with the Schedule 3 coming in and being, all this prescription-based stuff that we're talking about, will it be covered under medical benefits? Will Medicaid and all
again,
that?
Then are we stuck back with the pharmaceutical then model where we?
Well, that's the thing. Will you be taking Navalon
or will the pharmacies actually supply?
Sesame was a THC based.
Yeah. But again, I mean, it's down to the point that the only thing I think the pharmacies were complaining about was smell. They come in sealed containers with no smell. Would you not be able to go to the pharmacy and pick up your medical cannabis?
Well,
and that's where because shoppers already went ahead and got their licensing. We knew that right from the get go, because they had their hands in this right from the get go too. As soon as cannabis became legal, or they were looking at legalization. But then again, then they were the pharmacy end of things, right, which would kept it medical. And that's why things got rolled out the way they did, because the pharmacies didn't want to deal with all the people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like our here in Canada, our rejected it. in the beginning.
Right? Like they didn't want, and even veterinarians and stuff, like they were out looking for information and stuff, but at first they rejected CBD. Now you go to the vet and the first thing, have you tried CBD? And I'm like,
yeah.
Like, didn't you 10 years ago tell me to keep my dogs away from all my stuff because it would kill them? And I said, no, it'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Have you heard about CBD?
No,
and it's like, ah! Now it's like you take your pet to the vet. They're going, well, have you tried CBD?
I've had some good talks with my vet, and
I mean,
even to the
I'm
point
happy,
of
I'm happy to hear it, but I mean, Jesus Christ, how long did it take?
Yeah. So it's it's a milestone, but it is nothing. It is not like you said. There's no medical program there. But will there? There's no promise of a medical program if they reclassify it.
And again, too, like, weren't we talking about that new combination cannabis pharmaceutical they were looking at? That was a combination of more THC than CBD. And we were talking about that last show.
Yeah, that was last year.
It was last year, yeah. Sorry, I didn't want to bring up last year either. But again, like I said, if they can, because I remember us discussing the fact that if they can bring it in a pill form and then say, well, okay, you can't smoke it anymore. It's carcinogenic. It's causing this and that and this. So they take out the smokable portion of it altogether, and that goes back to the illicit market, because that's ultimately what would happen.
That's what's going to happen.
Quit smoking weed. Like, we're not going to quit smoking weed, fuckers. Like, that's just not going to happen.
When have you ever heard somebody say, I prefer the pharmaceutical version of cannabis or THC?
I don't even like taking canna caps. Never mind. And they're available at the fucking legal market. I don't even like eating edibles because I don't like. I'd rather smoke it. That's my ingestion of choice.
That's the way you like to consume your medication, and that's the way that you find it more effective.
Absolutely. If I want to sleep, then I'll eat a gummy. But if I don't want to sleep, there's no way I'll be sleeping like that. And it's not like that for everybody. That's the way it affects me. I want to make that clear. Like, my experiences are different. Other people.
Oh yeah, sure. Right? Thanks for the thumbs up, Scott.
Right?
That was Dr. Buck stopped by.
If I'm even making candy or cookies and I'm licking my fingers, I could be napping in the fucking chair. Like, I can't, I gotta keep the gloves on. Like, you start up.
Yeah, I know people that would happen. They'd make a mess with the caramel because they were making toffee caramels and stuff, and licking the fingers, get really high.
Well, I mean, like, even at the end of it, like licking the bowl, like, the spatula before you put it in the sink, because you don't want to waste any, right? That was mainly my thing. It's like, oh my god, I made chocolates. There's chocolate left, because I didn't want to dump it down the sink. Well, next thing you know, napping. I literally had to set myself an alarm when Taven had to go pick Taven up from elementary school, because if I was baking or cooking during the morning, no shit, by 2 o'clock I'd be napping in the chair. So it was like, better set an alarm. I did, so I didn't miss picking the kid up.
Talking about candies and toffee and stuff like that, cookies. There's always that stigma attached to cannabis, and people get the munchies, and when people are getting munchies, they're getting eating bad foods, unhealthy foods. People can gain weight, all that stuff, right? Well, a report has come out that says that that's all bullshit. Basically, they say that. Where is it? They say a team of academic and health researchers based in Australia, recently conducted analysis examining cannabis use, obesity rates, and metabolic syndrome. And they say the results of the examination, which was published in a journal of schizophrenia research, shed new light on cannabis use and weight management. They said they conducted a cross-sectional analysis of 988 participants, so basically 1,000 people, with DSM-4 schizophrenia. From the Katie study, whatever that is, they said that cannabis use measured via hair testing for THC, and this is gold standard for long-term use. They said the researchers wrote that the metabolic syndrome was defined according to some International Diabetes Federation. Jesus is mixing in a bunch of different stuff in here. They have a bunch. They have a bunch of numbers which would be more confusing than anything. The headline sounds good though.
Again, it depends. Like I
here
find
it
that
is.
it depends on terpene levels in the cannabis and whether you get the munchies or not.
They said that cannabis users had significantly lower odds of elevated waist circumference. And they said that cannabis use was also associated with lower weight, body mass index. And they have a couple of letters here that I don't understand what they mean for. And they said no significant differences were found in blood pressure or fasting glucose.
Interesting. Like I said, I think it. I mean, I've often said like I use cannabis to get an appetite because I don't have one, right?
Well, exactly.
And I find some doesn't give me an appetite, right? And I have to try something else. And within the legal market, I'm finding it more and more difficult to find stuff that actually does give me an appetite. Like I don't even know how to describe that. I don't even know how to explain it. But again, like look at how much weight I've lost since you've met me. Like never mind the pharmaceuticals that I have to take, right? Like I've lost 60 pounds. Like I was fighting to keep myself at 90 pounds for a while. And I'm still not 90 pounds. Like,
no, I know. Yeah, you're less than that now.
And I had to go in and get the doctor weighing me every 2 weeks, and I had to get a piss test to make sure I wasn't doing drugs. And I'm like, are you fuck? Because I take Ritalin, right? So they wanted another drug test to make sure I wasn't doing any other drugs besides the drugs that I had been told. Whatever. I don't care. Here's my test. Like, I've got nothing to hide. Like,
a lot of people had to do that at the beginning of the cannabis program here in Canada, where doctors required the patients to do a pee test to make sure they weren't doing opioids.
Yeah, I didn't have to do that, but again, like when I started taking Ritalin, I had to. Yeah, and I mean, like, if that's the standard practice for any psychiatrist before they start prescribing you stimulants, because Ritalin's a stimulant, right, for my attention deficit. Like borderline, legal math, pretty much, is what, if you take too much of it, if you don't need it, I don't know, I don't take any more than I'm supposed to. But, so I had to take a piss test for that, too, to make sure I wasn't taking anything I wasn't supposed to. Now I haven't had to take one for like 2 years. Like nobody's asked me.
Yeah, I have no. Same. It's been.
But I mean, the weight loss too. I think it's just kind of. She was more concerned about cancer, right? Because of the quick weight loss, and than anything else. Why the urine samples? It wasn't a drug test, but urine samples, blood samples, CAT scan. Still no.
Yeah. Well, just so you know, being that the both of us are over 50. And I'm over 60. Actually, I'm retirement age this year. A few more months. And a report has come out, another study before we go to break. And it says that cognitive impact of cannabis use on seniors. And it says that a recent study published looked at, association between past and present cannabis use and the cognitive abilities among dementia-free older adults. And they say that there's encouraging results. No, the older adults are using it for chronic health conditions and recreationally because of laws, allowing that. Let's see. They say in the new UK study,
they probably used it in the 60s, and then it became so taboo that they quit using it, right?
Yeah, and now that they're older, they're finding that they know not to agree or believe that crap that the government was spewing all those years ago.
I think it was getting medically licensed that really opened a lot of our parents' eyes to see that it was helping their children who were like Gen Xers and younger with their medical health and keeping their kids off other drugs, right? And then it was more acceptable for them. I think a lot that was helpful.
So they say that these seniors were over 60 years of age. They analyzed the cannabis use patterns. Cognitive function was assessed. The areas that were tested were attention, executive function, processing speed, visual memory, and working memory. Now, are husbands at a disadvantage on the testing for attention? Because I don't know, I'm always hearing that.
Yeah. Well, if you're hearing that, you might want to, I don't know. I can't comment on that.
What's that?
I don't have. Mine's never here. my husband's never here, so I never.
Yeah, yours is at home. Right. Let's see. Okay. Don't want to mess up where it was at. Okay, now now the researchers found lifetime cannabis users, 17% of them, performed better across all the cognitive domains mentioned above. Current use was also associated with better working memory. That were mixed, and there were mixed and contradictory results found for early onset, duration, and frequency of use with cognitive outcomes.
I believe that.
They say that I can't pronounce this word.
Longevity?
Longitudinal.
Long uteral?
Yeah, that's it. Past use was associated with less decline in executive functions, while longer duration of use predicted steeper decline in processing speed. Okay. They concluded that cannabis use is not uniformly harmful to cognition in older adults. Past use was linked to better performance and slower decline in some cognitive domains. They say that, however, specific uses patterns such as longer durations were associated with poorer outcomes in some of the domains. Let's see. And as always, yeah, they say they highlighted the need for further research, which is always something.
There's always a highlight for further research because like Jesus Christ, like we don't have enough fucking research. But like I said, I'm hoping this wards off dementia. Honestly, there's so many studies that we have read about cognitive behavioral skills in older adults and how it's taking and removing the plaque around the spinal cord that causes Alzheimer's. How many times have we discussed these studies over the last 4 or 5 years that we've been doing?
The white matter that builds up in your brain,
right? Which is the plaque on the spinal cord, right? So again, when you've got all these studies, now at the end of it says, but we need more studies. Okay, well then you got the next one, and we need more studies. Like, just get on with it, dude. Like, we need just some resolution here. Like, come up with a conclusion. The conclusion is apparently cannabis is not harmful. It helps all these things, and just make it so it's medically accessible and paid for by a program, by whether it's benefits, insurance, whatever, right?
Yeah, I just don't want to give up. Just don't want to give up access to the real life. Yeah.
No, and we should never have to give that up because it's Supreme Court ruled, right? Again, that's the only thing that kind of saves us. And so, some asshat goes into the BC Court of Appeal. Hope we never get fucking conservatives in here and does that, right? Mm-hmm. We've got a BC NDP government that's sitting in a BC Supreme Court under an injunction. But if some asshat fucking voted a conservative in and that person decided to appeal that fucking case, we could be fucked.
No, some people think that once it becomes legal, it'll never be illegal again. Well, right now there are states that are going through the process of creating referendums to have people vote on recriminalizing or removing rights that they won in court cases, or on voter approved cannabis.
And then they put the threshold for voter approval at 70%. Like they do stupid shit like that. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like that's so it can happen. And all you have to do also is look at Thailand. Thailand has closed over 7,000 stores. They're going to keep going with medicinal use, with the medical use. But as far as the recreational end of things, it's gone.
Well,
and
in
here they
Canada,
were a couple years ago.
registration can't be
They gave away 1 million seeds.
Wow.
It was so legal, but there was no regulations, controls, and
I know, and that's a change. That's a change
blew
in
up.
regimes, right? Change in governments, changes, and like I said, we're in the same boat in Canada. It might be a Supreme Court order, and it's also been put into legislation. That legislation can be challenged at any time, just like any other legislation.
Notwithstanding clause. All right. Well, time for us to take a break. When we return, Tamara and I, we got some more studies and reports here that I'm going to talk about.
And some more grass to smoke because the world's falling apart.
Yeah. Just some conversation. So we'll continue to talk when we get back. You're watching the Pace Radio Show. We're live here in 2026 on paceradio.net and 420pace.ca.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, open Monday to Friday from 10 till 7 p.m. or by chance. Check out our flags, our t-shirts, plus our hats, and look of that supply of rolling papers, plus much more. We've got bongs and your favorite herbal vaporizers. Look at all the incense we have, as well as for those who collect knives, check out these knives in our collection. And while you're here, stop in to see Shay at the piercing room, where you can get poked by Shay. Daily deals, check them out. Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford, Ontario.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420. Rerolled Saturdays. Check it out. Nothing but non-stop cannabis and psychedelic programming. Find it at 420pace.ca. You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Hey, you're back with the Pace Radio Show, and we are live as well. We're normally live. There's the odd time where, for some reason, we're not live. But I'm going to say probably 95%, 98% of the time we're live.
I think we've only had a couple glitches in the time that we've actually done this. In fact, I was sitting there trying to go back in my memories to go back, because I know this year in June 2026, I started Southern Alberta Cannabis Club in June of 2006. So this 2026 June will be the 20th year I started cannabis activism. So I was trying to go back and say when we started doing these shows together, and then I had Cannabis and Coffee before that. And I think we're going on almost 10 years of doing podcasts to myself, like doing by myself with Al Rapp before, and then coming onto the Pace Radio Network with you.
Yeah.
And then we've been doing this, I think, going on 4 or 5 years too. We had Grassroots Advocate in there in between. And then we started, I jumped on as co-host. So we've been at this a long freaking time.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you watch Psychedelics and Cannabis Educational News, in the intro, There's actually a picture of me back in 2008, I'm going to say, when I was in the studio doing the news broadcast, doing a cannabis news broadcast on terrestrial radio.
Yep.
People would
That's
actually form a circle, get together and smoke doobies during the news broadcast.
Why not?
And
it was so out of the norm back then too, on a mainstream radio, right? Like
I know that because she's the mother of one of my grandchildren. So
right. I still find it odd now that we've got legalization, recreational, and everything, that we still don't have like any legal TV programs. We can't do any advertising, so they keep that off. There's no podcast on mainstream. The only shows you ever seen are documentaries, showing some like harmful something or something to do with cannabis hitosis, or you know what I mean? Like you never see anything positive. Anything positive, like nothing, like hey, like we've got this, sitcom that's kind of fun. Nothing, like it's nothing's on mainstream. We have to do this all still underground, the same way we've been doing this.
Independent media. This the world of independent media now. People are getting the information.
Is that what you call it? Right? So anybody can go on YouTube and spew bullshit.
Yeah. Independent
media. You can fact check us. Most of our stuff is actually not bullshit.
Okay. Now, got another report here, another study. And it says cannabis use among the disabled. And this was done in the U.S. Okay, and this was done for the University of Nevada and George Mason University. And they said that they had 1,119 patients. And these people were 18 and older. And they had disability, identified as living with a disability. Let's see what else they say. The patients had one or more of 6 self-reported limitations relating to cognitive, hearing, independent living, mobility, self-care, and vision.
Weren't we talking about that too? That there's actually studies, if you Google online in Canada, you can actually sign up for, and they're paid studies.
Yeah. There are studies like that. Yeah. They said the most common use, 72% of the people were using it for pain. 60% of them were using it to relax or relieve tension. So stress, get rid of stress. And stress can be connected to so many different illnesses.
Oh, absolutely.
Autoimmune illnesses. Just look at the list of them.
Well, they'll say stress kills, hypertension, high blood pressure. They just connected to so many things.
When I get involved in some of the discussions in the Crohn's groups on Facebook, and they'll ask, what benefits did you find with your cannabis? That's one of the things I would say. Stress reliever, calm the mind.
Yeah. On so many levels. Like, where do you break it down? Because again, individuals find it different relief for so many different things. Like, I can't pinpoint everything it helps me with. It helps me overall in my overall health.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I can't pinpoint exactly, every day. I just use it.
These researchers say that the analysis of an open-ended responses for cannabis use reasons yielded 3 main themes: medicinal reasons, contextual reasons, and primarily as a sensory moderator. They say specific medical reasons for using cannabis included assistance with health-related conditions such as migraines, nausea, muscle spasms, seizures, mental health conditions, and sleep disturbances.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, the questionnaire, the study didn't ask specific questions about some of the stuff, but got generalizations, right? The government.
There's so many, like you said, like proactively, like, I can't remember who it was saying, like, we should be able to use it proactively for medical, reasons, whether you needed it or not.
Okay.
Most people use it medically and don't even realize they're using it medically anyway.
Yeah, there are. There are people. I know that I've had people I've talked to, and they said they've taken cannabis, and before they went to bed, and they said that they didn't feel any effect. They didn't notice any difference. And I'd say, "Well, did you sleep better?" And they say, "Yeah." Well, isn't that an improvement?
Did you fall asleep quicker and did you stay asleep?
Yeah.
That's the point of using it, right? One of the points.
Yeah.
Again, like everybody, it affects everybody differently. I've had people that have eaten my cookies and said it kept them up all night. And I'm like,
yeah.
okay. Like, but I'm using like indica and it's keef and oil, and okay, you stayed up all night. Well, better you than me, but yeah, I had somebody say that. I'm like, wow. I found that really odd, but everybody's metabolism is different. Everybody is affected differently.
Correct.
Again, like it's not for everybody. I've had other people too. That ate one of my candies one night and was climbing off the walls.
Oh, there you go.
So, but it didn't consume before. It's like overdone without realizing overdone.
There's a website called Cannabis Science and Technology. They put out some like a roundup for 2025 things that they liked. Now I don't know if it all affects everybody generally, but here they go. This is just 5 things. It says something about Texas has a compassionate use program, which is, well, compassionate use is good. Usually that means they're helping with some payment towards it or getting it for free. Let's see. Number 4, they say cognitive improvements. We just discussed all that. And with the with elderly people or older people. Study finds that U.S. physicians feel unprepared to guide patients on medical cannabis. I'm not surprised.
Why, there's not enough studies?
They're not being trained.
And there's not enough studies.
There's not enough studies.
No research. Another excuse, distraction. Not enough. Shut up. Just start training your doctors. Put a cannabis cannabinoid fucking program in your medical program. It's not hard. It's not hard. Research. Don't tell me there's not enough fucking research. Don't tell me that.
Yes. I'm just gonna look up something that I want to.
It just seems utterly ridiculous that after we're going on 80 plus years of prohibition prior to, we've had 10 years of 9 years of recreational legalization in this country, that not one of those big LPs that were supposed to be taking care of medical patients' needs and still do, if you want to have your licensing be taken care of by your insurance company, you have to play the fucking game with the LP right? Yeah. So again, there's still people buying so you think after 9 years of these big licensed producers growing cannabis for medical patients, because they still are, they would have some sort of fucking dosing and something of it figured out. Nope, they haven't.
No. Well, that's the thing. Health Canada could have voluntarily had patients, submit information.
Health Canada could just say it's fucking medicine to begin with, so we could actually get.
That'd be the best way to do it. I realize that. But now, talking about medical studies, reports, the number one, I like to call it the number one spot where I like to send people, in places that I always turn to throughout the years of my cannabis advocacy, dealing with Treating Yourself magazine, doing the home shows and events and stuff like that, is I had a book that I carried around with me that was basically, it was a printout of a website. And the website was called Granny Stormcrow's list.
Granny Stormcrow's. Yep. Okay, I remember that.
Yeah. Well, just so you know, it was just updated a week ago.
Oh, wow.
Yes, yeah. It is now back up running and updated. Granny, she has a message for everybody on there. I'm just bringing it up here. Here we go. This is the site that I would send everybody to. Granny's Storm Crows. Granny Storm Crows list. All right. They say if the truth won't do, then something is wrong. Now, she is now 78 years old. And she says, to be honest, it's getting harder to keep up with all the new studies. She says, when I started my granny's list 18 years ago, cannabis studies were coming out at maybe 10 in a week. Today, I can expect 10 to 15 new studies per day.
Yeah, we had said there's like 5,000 and some done a year.
Yeah, just
5,300 and some done a year, right? And
now
again,
see here, this is sections now. She's broken it down into. Okay. Study section for 2026. 3,101 pages. That's how long that thing is. Now, you think, holy shit, how can I find something that's got 3,100 pages in it that's so big? How do you ever find anything that's in it? Well, I'm going to show it to you because I'm going to bring it up.
I wouldn't even want to fucking begin to look through it. My eyes would be rolling in my head. I'll show you like what I've got too. Like during the break, I'll go because I've got my little bookshelf, and I've gone back to reading books and doing audiobooks.
Oh yeah.
And I've got my little books, my bookshelves, and I've got some herb books and stuff like that that have actually got cannabis in them.
Okay, here we go. This is Granny Storm Crow's list.
Wow.
Now, as you can see, as I scroll down, okay, it starts with the letter A.
Yep.
Abdominal. Okay. Next word, abscess. Everything starts in A. Acne.
Oh, these are all just afflictions of with the people like diseases and stuff.
Everything in this list is in alphabetical order by medical condition.
And then it's showing you the study that they've done with cannabis.
This is right here, for example.
Right on.
The name of the study, cannabinoids in the pathophysiological of skin infection. It was done in Romania. Full report done in 2020. Just click on the link and you got it.
Wow.
You know?
Crazy. That's crazy.
So you got 3,100. Nice things about PDF. You can just type in, okay, I want to go to page 100. Right? Go to page 100. 300 pages in, right?
Yep.
And you are still in the A's. Aging. And look at all the
that's amazing.
Look at it all.
Right? But again, all these studies, and they're still balking at fucking claiming that there's any medical benefits for it. Like what?
There's 475.
Oh my God.
Children. Just on children.
What a bunch of bureaucratic bullshit and a bunch of fucking money that fucking was wasted on fucking 100 million studies to come out with the same conclusion for them to just keep wanting to study it.
Yeah. Here I'm on the 3rd page of children. Here comes the 4th page.
That's crazy.
5th page. 6th page.
And there's 3,100 pages of it though.
It's 3,100. Yeah.
Like wow. And then there's probably another 3,100 pages of something else with all this and all that.
She's broken it down.
This one's been published in this journal. Wow.
Yeah. I'm looking now. I want to find something else. It's really what I'm not seeing is like a search bar where you could search by conditions. Okay, I
might not be on that. No, because it's a PDF, right? So you can't search it by like it's not been uploaded per page, so you can't. There's no search bar for it.
Right.
But that's It's a
Okay, I'm just
PDF.
gonna take that out of there while I do. I'm gonna keep
You don't want to
searching.
download onto your computer or fill up your hard drive.
Yeah, well, here I'm gonna put. I'll put the once I get back to the website and the things here. I'll put
I made that
the
mistake.
link to this in the chat, and then that way, people can get it that way.
Yeah, excellent. But yeah, like I said, with that many studies, you think they come up with a conclusion. Like, I just don't understand what the holdup is.
Yeah.
Well, they need Humpty Dumpty's fucking proof of, stamp of approval.
And just paste. There we go. It's in the chat, everybody. Granny Storm Crow's medical cannabis links.
Yeah, I remember going and referring a lot of that stuff too. Actually, Calgary 420, when we had our old chat, like when the original chat pages that we had back like way back, like in cannabis culture,
Yeah.
other forums and stuff too. There was lots of files and stuff in there. And on my other web, that's probably why I burned through 60 laptops in 3 years from downloading all the information that I needed. And because I did not with 60 of them, but I burned through quite a few laptops, and it was probably because I was always on those forums and downloading information, right? Like PDF files, so I could have it pop up. So when I wasn't online, I could refer back to it, right? And that loaded up my hard drives. I should have, that's how I learned my lesson. And they say when you got a 3,100 page fucking PDF, don't download that shit. You'll be sorry. And fucking hard drive will be full, and you won't be able to do anything. I'm going to safety mode.
I'm in the right area of what I want, so I can show it when I bring it up on the screen. I just got to find the beginning of it.
I don't know why I'm so tired. I'm yawning. Sorry about that.
Okay. It's just okay. Now everybody's, cancer. All right. It's just, it's everybody expects to get cancer sometime. It's so popular. And
so like not fucking stigmatized about
right.
picks any. It's not just, it doesn't discriminate.
Okay, so here we go. Cancer and cannabis. Okay, studies and reports. Okay, I'm on page 363. Okay, remember that number. Okay, so as you can see here, it says cancers. It starts off with the name of a cancer. Okay, and then the next one, a name of a cancer: basal cell carcinoma, bladder, urothelial cancer. It goes on to bone cancer, brain cancer. Look at the links, pages. That's just on brain cancer. Breast cancer. 2, 3, 4, 5 plus pages of breast cancer. Cervical cancer. And you can tell, like, there's only like 3 lines, 4 lines maybe for each.
They haven't done that. They haven't done very many studies on that.
Yeah. Colon cancer. Pages of it. Epidermal cancer.
It's unfortunate that I think that what holds them back so much with using cannabinoids is because there's so many different strains and different effects at different terpenes and everything when they're doing it. Why they would have to make it into a synthetic to actually make it to be effective for cancer killing. Again, why I think they're looking at the pharmaceutical side of being able to turn THC, CBD, CBH into a chemical, like I'm not going to say chemical, into some form, so they can use it as a T cell replacement, right? Because I saw a documentary about how they're doing research right now with mRNA like protein, and they're splitting T cells and then putting those T cells into a cancerous cell, and that cell is then turning into a cell that can go after the cancerous cells. So your own biology, your own cells can actually kill the cancer in your body. Like it's your own biological I'm not a doctor, so I don't know the terminology, but or researcher. It's really interesting.
There was 3 pages there on lung cancer, melanoma. I had melanoma. There's half a page there, a page and a half. Yeah.
I think it's really interesting, but again, like, if they're not going to actually follow through with any of these studies and come up with general conclusions,
oral cancer, ovarian cancer.
I just find it a waste of taxpayers' dollars.
Yeah, pancreatic cancer, prostate cancer. Couple pages there. Gland cancer, or just saliva, gland cancer, skin cancers. It's just on and on and on. She's just got a huge list here.
Yeah. But again, like I said, every time they do a grant for all this stuff, this costs the Americans money, or whatever country these are from, the taxpayers, and there's no conclusion on any of this stuff. So it's a waste of taxpayers' dollars if they're not going to actually conclude something and move forward and use it, and allow people to use it freely, and let people not have to, like keep on studying, wasting money. The conclusion is it's harmless. It helps people. People use it for therapeutic reasons. We don't know exactly what it does, and we don't care. We just want you to let us use it, and for our medical need, right? It's not killed anybody. Like, that's one thing I can say. Like, nobody's ever going to overdose on cannabis. You might feel uncomfortable.
That's the thing, though. Everybody who's admitted to the hospital is overdosed. You and I look as an overdose as a death, but out there, some people in the medical end, overdose is over consuming.
Because recovery is now an industry, right? So if they can prove that you can actually use the money from the government to put people in a detox for cannabis, for all that tax-paying dollars that are going towards, community safety units and all these recovery houses, and then you keep them fucking down and then feed them drugs 30 days into it. So it's human trafficking on a legal level.
Before we go to break, we got about 2 minutes before we go to break. The number one thing on that list, that's where we were before I got into Granny Stormcrows, just to bring us back. The number one thing on that list is cannabis a substitution to the opioid crisis.
And they don't like that either, because then they don't have addiction problems to keep feeding into the treatment industry.
They say in this research overview from January, there's a Ruth Fisher explores how cannabis has shown promising in helping individuals reduce opioid use, potentially decreasing overdose deaths. Though its impact on chronic pain and opioid reduction remains evident, limitation exists and flaws in methodologies and ecological studies complicate conclusions.
And psilocybin too, and that's why they don't want to legalize psilocybin, because then it'll break down into their fucking recovery, human trafficking fucking scam.
So it was good to see that is there on the opioid end of things. So
people in it, we're proving that with our CSPs. Like, we're proving that on a daily. When you see people that are not using the opioid drugs or the meth or whatever because they're consuming cannabis and edibles, we've proven that to them.
All righty. Well, it is the top of the hour. Oh, ding! That must be break time. The break time bell.
No, I don't know. Somebody probably bugging me about something. Probably my kid. I'm hungry.
Okay, when we get back, we're going to talk about something that we don't have in here in Canada when it comes to medical cannabis taking, and I think it should. So when we get back from the break, we'll talk about that. You're watching the Pace Radio Show. We're live here at paceradio.net and 420pace.ca.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net. Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
Are you looking to get your medical cannabis grow license? Limestone City Hydroponics can help patients through the process of obtaining their license to grow medical cannabis. What's that? You don't have a doctor. If you meet the medical criteria, Limestone City Hydroponics has a nurse practitioner who can assess and provide medical cannabis prescriptions. What are you waiting for? Contact Limestone City Hydroponics at limestonecityhydroponics.ca or call them at 613-548-0420.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Rerolled Saturdays. Check it out. Nothing but non-stop cannabis and psychedelic programming. Find it at 420pace.ca. You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Hey, you're back. We have some more reports and studies and stuff to cover over the next half hour. But first, as I mentioned before the break, something going on that we don't have here in Canada for medical patients. And this is coming to us about from the UK. And, I don't even like the UK medical cannabis program. But this is some guidance that has been given to the UK police officers. And this is guidance that comes to them from the National Police Chiefs Council. And they say that this is new guidance on how to handle interactions with medical cannabis patients. And they said this is following concerns that outdated advice was leading to unnecessary confrontations between officers and lawfully prescribed patients. Let's see. They got this guidance, come up with this guidance through consultations with healthcare partners, government agencies, and the private sector. They say this marks a significant shift in approach, instructing officers to treat medicinal cannabis users as patients first, suspects second, instead of automatically assuming that they're impaired because they're a patient.
Yeah. Well, why do you think that I don't mention that like on my insurance that I use cannabis as medicine? Because they do in BC ask you if you use any medicine that, or, and I should probably, and I I don't mention that. I never have.
No.
Not from my insurance, nothing. I don't want any label like that. Like I said, I never wanted medical licensing because I didn't want a dog tag.
Now I was coming home one day, and out in the middle of nowhere, there was a ride program set up. This was years and years ago, and I was delivering magazines to Peterborough at the time. And I stopped and talked to the officers, through the window. And they asked me about the hat that I was wearing at the time. And so next thing I know, we had a great conversations about cannabis and medicinal cannabis. And I gave them a magazine and all that stuff. And, they never bothered me, never hassled me about Any consuming or anything
No,
like that?
I think it really depends on the officer. They've always had discretion with cannabis. It's something that they've always had. That just depends on what cop you got.
Mm. Now they say that here, the new guidance provides strict practical steps for frontline officers encountering patients with the medicinal cannabis. They say the officers are advised to ask for the original packaging. I don't know if they can grow their own there. Okay, they may not be able to. Check the dispensing label or request to see a letter from a prescriber or a copy of the prescription. So carry a prescription with you instead of that card that our government gave us. Though patients are not legally required to carry these documents, whereas we had our plastic cards or our pink papers. Remember the pink papers they wanted us to keep?
The only thing is that with Canadian privacy laws for our medical, like our medical records, I don't know even now that we should have to be required to do that under the Canadian privacy laws.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
My doctor was sitting with my EI, like she would not tell them what my condition was. She said it was there was no obligation.
Well, our paperwork isn't condition either, so.
Yeah.
They say here that where does it go? Where to go? Officers are advised to ask for the packaging. I said that. Crucially, the guidance states that further police action should only follow if officers have justifiable grounds for believing that the individual is not a patient who has lawfully been prescribed medicinal cannabis. And they said that adding that it should be assumed that people in possession of medicinal cannabis are patients until proven otherwise.
Well, why should you have? That just sounds like you're guilty until they prove you that you're not.
Well, that's why they're saying that they're a patient, then they're a patient. Now the document also.
I guess would lie if they didn't have the proper, stuff on them. But again, like that just seems really intrusive.
Oh, here we go. Talking about the cards. The document also addresses controversial areas, including a can card, which is a plastic card indicating the holder as a condition treatable with cannabis. And the guidance clarifies that patients with valid prescriptions have no need for a can card, which they have to pay for because it says they get paid annual charges for that.
Where is this?
The UK.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, well, it just sounds like a lot of extra paperwork and a lot of extra bullshit.
Well, no, what I'm getting at is that it is actually not looking at cannabis patients as being an issue and a danger to the road. They're looking at recognizing that they are patients.
Oh no, I get that. I get that. Yeah,
looking at them being impaired,
which is a step ahead of where we are.
Yeah. That end of it, anyways.
Yeah, that's a step ahead of we were. Again, like we were also threatened with all those blow machines and stuff from Australia, and they never transpired either.
Yeah. Okay, what else do we got here? Okay. In Croatia, Czechoslovakia, they're going to do a trial. What's that?
I seen that. I was going to say that's right. I seen that.
Yeah, they have a trial that finds that CBD reduces blood pressure. Now, I had a doctor tell me that years ago. That lowers your blood pressure, and like my blood pressure, it's like 105 as an average, or 100, somewhere in there. It's so low.
I don't know what mine is, but I know that it runs in my family, and I've never had an issue with mine. But my grandfather had high blood pressure, so I don't know. I've never. And the way I rage around here, I think I would.
I said to the doctor, I said to her, I know that they have medication for people who have high blood pressure. I says, what about people with low blood pressure? Do they give you medication for that? And she says, give us a shout if you faint.
What?
Give us a shout if you faint.
Here, have a sniff of some chlorophyll. You know what it is? Smelling salts, Al? Like, what do you?
Maybe, yeah. So there is
What are you
nothing.
gonna do? Step off the floor and then call the doctor? How can you phone her if you're fainted? Like that makes absolutely no fucking sense.
Okay.
My God. Sometimes you have to shake your head.
They said the 70 patients. They said the 70 patients with primary hypertension were included. Each patient who participated in the clinical trial was randomly assigned either cannabidiol or a placebo. This is for 5 weeks. Patients were then crossed over to alternate therapy and assessed via regular visits, during which venous blood samples were obtained from each patient. Let's see. They said that after 5 weeks of CBD supplementation, that the blood pressure dropped, and they give 4 mmHgs, whatever that is expected.
I wonder how you'd be able to do.
It must be your phone because it's not mine.
It is. It is my phone. I don't know what she's doing.
That was loud.
That's my phone. Yeah, it's Facebook, FaceTime. They should do a study where you smoke a joint while you're inside an MRI machine while they're actively watching and doing the MRI while somebody's smoking a joint.
So would that be like a barium follow through, where you swallow something and then they watch it go through?
Yeah.
Take pictures as it goes through.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. But again, you can't move in an MRI machine. All the noise and stuff, and you're laying there like a fucking pretzel. And all you hear is that, right? So it'd be pretty hard for you to be smoking a doobie while you're in there.
Yeah. Here's something that's a little different. I don't know if you ever heard me talk about reefer roasters.
Yeah, reefer roasters, like roach joints.
Yeah, there was some guys years ago, and what they did is they did an experiment and they fed hemp seed to chickens. Nothing but hemp seed.
Oh, right.
And then they harvested the chickens, and they entered the chickens into a contest, a chicken barbecuing contest that was being put on by an association connected to the DEA.
Oh, you told me this story. I think we've talked about this before. And they didn't have any clue except
those chickens
come back.
The chickens won the contest, right? The hemp fed.
They're nice big fat plump chickens. Bark bark. Yeah, I know.
Exactly. Now, here's a report. Morocco approved CBD poultry feed study. They're feeding the chickens CBD. There's a reefer roasters right there.
Dude. It's just hemp seed. Now they want to fucking make it some big fucking study about fucking CBD.
They're doing this in Morocco. Let's see what they're giving them. No, they're not giving them seeds, okay?
Chicken be smoking.
They're doing this to see if it's safe and effective additive to chicken feed. Okay.
Hey, I fed my goats.
How they're doing this.
It didn't seem to affect them in any way, shape, or form. When I fed the goats, the fucking
they're studying the effects of CBD on poultry immunity and antimicrobial protection.
Microbials.
It's a 10-month program aimed to develop a CBD-based feed formulation suitable for industrial use.
Wouldn't that be great if it would be like an antioxidant that would keep the viruses from them, because birds get viruses.
They say officials say the research is designed to support a gradual shift away from growth-stimulating antibiotics, whose use is tightly regulated in Morocco.
Yeah, those are probably for meat birds and stuff like that. My feed doesn't have any antibiotics in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just layer crumble, right? Like it's not. There's nothing in it. It's just green.
Just looking for a definition.
But again, I think that'd be cool if they could like make it so that they could come up with something that would block this fucking avian flu.
There we go. CR. Okay, they use cannabis residue is what they said. The results showed that while the cannabis residue supplementation did not impact growth performance, it improves meat quality by reducing fat content and enhancing flavor through elevated free amino acid levels. And that's exactly the same things that they talked about on the reefer roasters, or I'll get it out, reefer roasters.
Yeah.
And they said it increased the overall nutritional value of the meat.
Yeah.
Giving them CBD residue.
But the funny thing is prior to 1900, farmers were, told they had to grow hemp, and then they were using the hemp seeds to feed their chickens, right? And their grain. It went in with the cattle, let's be.
And it was
like,
running wild, free range birds getting into.
I don't even know what to say anymore. But yeah, there's so many benefits on so many levels, but then it was too strong. It was too industrial. It was too long lasting. It wouldn't deteriorate fast enough for the fucking greed of fucking man. So they decided to make it fucking illegal because cotton, a cotton t-shirt only lasts a year. Wilbur.
Yeah. Oh, did you you notice when you came back to just to switch topics for a second here, when you came back and started your show that things were a little bit different in StreamYard?
Not really.
You didn't notice any changes? Okay. Did you know that you can say clip that? And then when you do that, it will.
Oh, I did see that. They're loading, and you can go through and pick clips and stuff and upload them.
I already used the clips. I already used the clips to do promos. But I got to remember to use that phrase "clip them" so that it will create that reel. So.
Oh, you mean while you're doing the show?
Yeah, while you're doing the show. If there's something that you just
say that, and it'll do it.
And it will create a reel. I'll find out after the show because now I've said it like 3 times. As far as just now, I didn't say it when I should have said it, but now that I said it, yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. I didn't know you could say it.
And you're only allowed so many. There's only so many allowed per month.
I did see that
less than one a day. Yeah, less than one a day. Yeah. Being that we broadcast almost daily, it wouldn't take long to use them up.
Yeah, no, I won't bother.
Yeah, usually I'll get it to generate a bunch, and I'll keep 1 or 2, and that's what I'll put out.
Absolutely.
So.
But yeah, no, I didn't know that. Like I said, I just seen the little thing at the end.
Yeah,
go back and
there's all kinds of different things that are different.
Well, AI, right? Like AI now is pretty much taking over the whole situation.
Yeah. I just did one. I removed you out of the screen because I hit the wrong button. Now I can't get you back. Hang on, I will. Here we go. There we go.
Could you hear me?
What? No, I was panicking.
Oh, you couldn't hear me? Okay. I think I'd like it better if when we go to break and stuff, and we have guests and stuff, before in the other network or whatever we were using, we could talk to our guests behind the scenes.
Oh yeah. That was when we were using that was with the audio. With
this
speaker,
we were able to talk to our guests and stuff during breaks or before, after the show, until after the show. And I think that it kind of feels cold. I don't know.
Well, the nice thing about when we were doing the audio only and we were using Spreaker at that time, as you said, during the commercial breaks, we could talk. All the people involved in the show could talk amongst ourselves, and our listeners wouldn't hear us. And that would help out with any planning on going into the next segment, discussing that with our guests. Whereas now with the video end of things through StreamYard, even though that we remove ourselves out of the picture and everybody sees the commercial, we cannot talk verbally to each other. We can message each other. We can do that during it any time because there is the private chat.
Then you look at the keyboard. You're not, not really paying attention to what's being said.
I know. It's trying to type stuff out while you're trying to hold a conversation on a completely different subject.
Right, exactly. Again, like it's distracting, and again, that would be helpful if StreamYard could make it so that we could have a little more, in the background. But they keep updating things. I do notice that you can record the whole show, and now we've gone from this to like a webinar, which was the second big change they had, right? And now we've got this other screen over here that we can see. I don't know if anybody else can see it, but we've got like 4 screens in front of us.
Okay, yeah. I closed them off.
No, like but I've got. Oh, you got yours closed off?
Yeah. If you look on across the layouts at the left-hand side of the layouts, you have the square.
There we go. I found it.
There you go.
So that like the whole thing, I thought that I couldn't do that. I thought that's the way that you had it set up. So I just left it. But all of a sudden, I got 4 screens in front of me. I'm like having a hard time focusing on anything.
You did a whole show like that too. Oh, well,
I've done 2 whole shows like that.
Yeah. Now, not all the broadcasts do this, but in YouTube, StreamYard, because you have an option now. You can run it as a landscape, as we are, okay, in most of the stuff. Like, for example, on Facebook, you have a choice of going landscape or as a reel, which is a portrait.
Right.
You can't do both. You can only do one or the other. So I have them all set up at landscape. But on YouTube allows it to run as a reel, like, portrait, and as landscape at the same time.
Oh.
So if you go to the YouTube channel, the Pace Radio Network YouTube channel, on a lot of our shows, you'll see the show twice. And if you just take your mouse and your cursor over it, you'll see at the end of the wording the picture of a reel. And that tells you that it's the reel and not the landscape.
Oh, cool. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. So you can get the only
reason I had YouTube up was because I was scoping some, trying to find some news tonight, and I couldn't. It seems like Google's blocking news.
Google's blocking what?
News. Live streams and all kinds of things. It just seems like we're getting blocked.
I haven't ran into any of that I'm aware of. So, okay, what else have we got? We got 7 minutes left. And okay, I did the feed study report. I can take that out of there. Got Granny Storm Crows. I can take that out of there. Cannabis for veterans, a PDS study up and running. And I say PTS for post-traumatic stress. I don't like to call it a disorder. It's more of an injury. So
there's a lot of upgrades coming for their program, from what I'm hearing.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. You say that veterans make up 8% of the U.S. adult population, but they represent 15% of all adult suicide deaths. That's not good.
Yeah. That country has been at war since the beginning of USA. They haven't come out of war, and they've got a generation after generation and after generation of dead soldiers. End of story. And they're going to continue on with it.
No, yeah.
It's disgusting.
No, they said there's a study that was done in 2023, and they said 91% of respondents reported medical cannabis helped them to experience a greater quality of life. 21% indicated that they were using fewer opioids as a result of the medical cannabis use.
A lot of their post-traumatic stress syndrome is very complicated for a lot of different reasons, right? They have different triggers than what you would expect that they do, and it's very difficult. I'm so glad that they've got cannabis to fall back on for some of them. I really am.
Well, this Wayne State University, $20 million was given to them from the Michigan Cannabis Regulatory Agency, and it's some funding for the state's medical marijuana research grant program.
See, and that's the thing. The states and different states are doing different things, and it's just.
They said that they use varying levels of THC and CBD. Okay. Webcare.net. Oh, no, sorry. Warriorcare.net is the website we get more information on this.
Yeah.
6% of the U.S. population will have PDS sometime in their lives.
I think the numbers are higher probably. No.
So there you go.
Like that's the thing. It's not just a soldier's mental health. It's absolutely not. No, man. It's sitting right in front of me. But
it
again,
sounds
like
it's coming out of my microphone.
It was sitting right in front of. Well, I guess because my microphone must be right here in front of the computer.
It is
sitting right on my computer. But PTSD isn't just a soldier's. It's for. But there's so many different reasons, and so many people actually, not just veterans, that suffer from PTSD, right? And that's the thing. There's so many different studies, but I mean, they're non-comparable. Like you can't say and blanket it all under one umbrella because there's different levels. But yeah, it's a pretty hard cookie to uncrumble.
I got one more thing here that I want to discuss now. I'm not a doctor or anything, but this is an article, some information that says the best ways to use cannabis if you have ADHD. There's a lot of people out there with ADHD, right? All right, now, what's that?
Is it that I don't have ADHD?
Okay. They say microdose. Well, they say these are the best ways for people with ADHD who can find the benefit from cannabis. Microdose, 1 to 2 milligrams of THC. They say it's an effective way of mitigating restlessness without affecting the energy. They say if you're using a vape, just one light puff can do the trick.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I will absolutely. Yep.
Now, because they also recommend quick onset products. They say that ADHD brains work best when there is the benefit of immediate feedback. When it comes to cannabis, this means fast-acting products.
That's probably why I consume or like smoke it. It's more effective.
Now they say that low THC or balanced THC CBD products. They say too much THC can easily overstimulate the ADHD brain. And on the other hand, balanced formulas will work so much better. So there's that 1-to-1 ratio. Yet again.
Like I told you, sativa puts me to sleep, right?
Yeah. Yeah, right? Yeah. That's not me.
So, like I said, that's not normal, but if indica, like that's what I smoke all the time. Indica is what keeps me so that I can keep, doing the things I do. I smoke sativa. I'm sleeping in the chair too. The higher the CBD for me, I'm sleeping. I'm out. I'm fucking toast.
Oh, really? Well, what they're suggesting here is CBD during the day, THC at night. Strategically splitting your cannabis doses during the day is an effective way to make the most out of it. CBD during the day supports focus and motivation without running the risk of burnout. Doesn't help you that way?
I don't know. Like I said, that just sounds all too complicated for my ADHD brain. Like, seriously, break this down for sleep and this. What? Okay. I have to slow that down. Yeah, like my eyes are going in the back of my head. But again, I would say that, like I said, because I smoke pretty much indica, I don't consume any other way. But I also take my medication too, because the cannabis doesn't keep me focused enough. And it did for a long time until menopause hit. And I didn't really feel any of the ADHD, like, real symptoms until I hit 49. And then it was like, what the fuck is wrong with me?
Yeah, well, I remember you're on medication for it.
Right? And I had no medication at all. Like, nothing. Like, I was bound, like, but it made more sense. But my hormone levels changed. And as soon as my hormone levels changed, it accentuated the ADHD symptoms.
Yeah. Now,
so it was like.
There is 2 more things I want to touch on this. Now, one of the advice from them says don't continuously use cannabis all day long. They say using it from the moment you wake up through the time you go to bed can quickly lead to tolerance buildup.
I agree.
Yeah. They say instead opt for 1 or 2 intentional consumption windows in each day. If it helps, it may also want to have a clear time to stop and start. Okay. And the conclusion is it says that cannabis can be a powerful tool for people with ADHD. It doesn't fix the attention issue, but rather supports overall regulation.
So if you use it in hand with the medication that I take, that's pretty much how I do consume. Like I get up in the morning. The first thing I do is not reach for my joints. I get up, I have a coffee, I get the kid off to school. I'm not consuming any cannabis. So probably I take my meds at 10. So probably right around just before that or just after sometimes because I get busy doing other things too. So, and I use my vape pen more. I will sit down and smoke a joint, but I only smoke half it. Like even during shows and stuff, like I'm not smoking or consuming as much as I used to as I get older either.
Right.
But I find if I do consume too much, it's not effective. It won't help me at all, right? So I had to kind of like that just seems to be working for me. So
yeah, there you go. So there's obviously some points there that you agreed with.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, that's about how like I said, I'm here by myself too. Like I don't smoke a full joint. Sometimes it's just too much. Like I don't need it, right? So I just put it out halfway, couple puffs, put it out, like, and then I'm off to do whatever I'm doing. But it helps with the nausea. And because sometimes, and it does, it helps with nausea.
Especially that because of my condition, but even for our prep for colonoscopies, a lot of people have nausea from trying to swallow that stuff. And, even with that, it helps there, nausea. So, all right. We're at the end of the show. Anything else that you'd like to mention before we say goodbye? Say goodbye?
I don't think so. I've kind of put CSP on hiatus for a bit because of the situation going on in town, and I don't have any donations. I've got them working with Zip, Ziddle, and Doodle. And when you got nothing to work with, like I said, I'm really good at raising money, just not for that.
Yeah. All right.
$80,000. I guess that's what one of those things was.
That's dope. Did a good job there. So, all right. Other than that, thanks go to our sponsors: Limestone City, Hydroponics.ca, the Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, and At-Eze.ca. Plus, big thank you goes to you guys for tuning in, watching the show. Just so you know, when I look at the statistics, our viewers are pretty even when it comes to male and female, and as well as our age categories. They're all pretty even, so we're still pretty good. So
we appreciate you watching and appreciate our sponsors.
Yes,
shout out to you.
Other than that, to everybody, thank you again and good night. We'll see you all next week. Oh, don't forget, tomorrow morning, catch the news. Psychedelics and Cannabis Education News, 10 a.m. You'll catch me live. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Let's share PACE everywhere. That way it can help create peace. People everywhere advocating cannabis education. You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.